history. Something so simple and complicated. Something very easy and hard. Something very understandable and not. Something that really makes you hard to believe that something can be. And it's so understandable for you that it was. That's all history. And we are a part of this history. And what we'll be talking today. Also, welcome to History Time. Python today. Let's discover the history of this programming language. One of the most popular right now. You know, a lot of interesting stuff about that. But do you really know the story of Python? Do you really know how this success come to them? Why we have Python 3, why there is no go-to statement, and in general, what is that? How we have NumPy and all the analytics in this programming language? That's the question. So, the Python isn't a really early programming language. It was created in late 80s, so 980s. Basically, it was started at 1989 years. So, Winde van Rossum, developer of this programming language, he was working at the CVI at the Netherlands, and basically he understood one problem that he had, that all the programming languages, they have been very complicated. Of course, C, we have Java, we have other programming languages that have been created during this time, and you can understand that even Java is much more understandable than, for example, C that was at that time. And that was the problem, that he was thinking, why not to solve that? And he just created his pet project. Honestly speaking, that wasn't something too big, it was something that he was creating for himself. So basically he started doing that at Christmas. And why Python? Because during the time he was really watching one comedy show that he liked the most. It calls Monty Python's Flying Circus, and that's why Python, because he was thinking, that will be quite unique, quite interesting, because if you will take the timeline and see which programming languages and the names was before, you won't be surprised why Python was quite unique and quite interesting, funny in this way. So the first version, that was called Python 9.0, was released in 1991. So it was on the February, it was the first release of that, and an idea of that was simplicity and reliability. That's why the Python is grounded on that. And you to know that how all of the really successful business applications and even frameworks, programming languages are created. They're created step by step. So this was the first version that wasn't something incredible. There was some classes, there have been some error handling, nothing too more. But one of very interesting thing that there wasn't go-to statement. Basically, what is go-to statement? If you will go to C programming language, you will be able to discover that with go-to, you can go to every part of your code, and it was quite useful at that time. A lot of programming languages have been doing that, but Winde van Rossum had another idea. He was thinking that it will be create a complexity for users, and we don't have it right now. And honestly speaking, no one is thinking about that. So he was right at the thing. It was really making more complex in this way. And after that, he was creating like a community that was improving this programming language, because once more it was just pet project that he was creating by himself. He was improving that as he would like to, and that's why he was called Benevolent Dictator for Life, or it was shortly BDFL. So basically, why? Because it was his final decision. So when there was community, they have been talking about something to improve, his idea was the final one. And that's the thing. So that's why he was a dictator for life, but little bit not so hard. So benevolent, and that's why he realized later on. So after approximately nearly 30 years, like 27, something like that. Like he stepped back in 2018. Yeah, quite not so long time ago, honestly speaking, because he realized that it was so hard to him to continue doing that, to have a final decision on everything, and especially that it was quite big programming language at that time. So a new governance model has come, and right now it is held in for by today. So from 2018, it's still the same one. So it's not the one person taking the decision; it's a team of the people. So that's the thing that you should understand. And let's come back to the story when after the first version was released. After the first version was released, we had the second one, Python 2, on 2000. So the new era has come, and Python 2 was like good for this number. And basically, it wasn't a big step. It was a first big step for Python, but it wasn't a big step as it's right now, and especially if we'll check Python 2 and Python 3. Why? Because there was just some more things, for example, list comprehensions or garbage collections. So if, for example, object wasn't linked for something, it will be just it will go down and it won't make any leaks for memories. And that was quite good. It like before 2000, before Python 2, it was just minor changes on Python. So like with community post, he was improving that. And after the Python 2 was released at 2001, Python Software Foundation, that was called PSV, was established, and it was non-profit foundation that then take under the control what will be with Python. So basically at that time it was nearly 12 years of Python, and Benevolent awesome thought to create such foundation, so he will be able to make it better, to improve that, so it will be much faster to go on. And basically before that, you'll be thinking how just Python was created in such a way, so it will be like more and more popular. Even they have a conference and such thing. So basically, firstly, it was started in the early 90s when the first Python was started. So GUI was using one of the newest system at that time that was called comp.lang.python, and basically on that they have just had a small communication channel to speak with the audience and to understand what they wanted to have. And then the big step was at 94, and it was PyCon. But honestly speaking, it wasn't PyCon at that time. It was something like group of people that just gathered together, and nothing too complex at that time. So it was just 20 people who have gathered, and we have been talking about that. It was firstly International Python Conference, but then it became PyCon, that is right now is held in, and it's the heart of Python changes that we have and community of that. So basically that's how it started to create it more popular. And the most important thing, that real world success stories, like when people have been talking to each other, what you have been doing with Python. Like I have created such projects small with Python. I have created such one. For example, NASA have created one for mission control and automation, and some of the employees have told it on other people, and that was quite interesting to discover that even NASA are using that for some small stuff. And that's why during all of these years, approximately like more than 30 years, no, yeah, more than 30 years, nearly 40 years. It is popular, it is growing, and successful cases. That's why they're using. But it wasn't the biggest step, because right now most of the people are telling that, oh, Python is so not so new popular programming language, but quite so, because before that there was Java, but at one moment it was Python and everyone was amused, and we'll be talking about that. But before talking about that, we should understand the biggest changes that was with Python 3. And these major changes will be the most important for us. So basically, the biggest changes was in 2008 when the Python 3 was released. And the problem, why it was released? Because the team understand that they should clean up the language and create that the wholly new way. That's why it calls the major big change. And to understand you how much it was, you should understand one simple example. We all know print. Print method that will help you to output something on your terminal. But before that, it was statement, not method. And just just adding these round brackets and working that as a function, we get the problem that all of the earliest programming have been, like programming applications, have been just not working because they didn't understand what is print. Just print, space, and the name. That was the problem. And just these small brackets. And of course there was a lot of different things, and basically they have just improved it to be more stable on. So basically you can check the long list what have been changed on Python 3. But the most important that they understood that it should be make better with understanding what is function statements, what is the performance, how it should be done. And that was the biggest thing that should be done at the time. And during that time, approximately, there was created a lot of frameworks that are iconic for Python, and because of them, they are popular. And you'll understand why. So it is NumPy, it is Pandas, it is Key-learned, it's NumPy, NumPy was talking about that. It's Django Flask, it's TensorFlow, PyChar. That's basically all. And all of them are taking one thing except of Django and Flask. They're using with machine learning, with AI, with all the artificial intelligence that are right now, and that's why it became popular some years ago, even before ChatGPT, because creating models, it was quite a long time ago, but creating that and taking that for mass to automate more, to take a more deep analysis, we should do that. And because analytics people they're not always so programming, they should have something easy to go, and that's why these libraries and frameworks have been created. So basically, for example, some of these libraries, they have been created just because at one conference they should create something with Python. They're like, okay, I will create this application based on Python. Another one was created at Google event, and it was based on Python because it was just faster for this person to create. But all of these applications have been taken because it was faster to create. It was good integration, or it have been used before with NumPy and etc. For example, TensorFlow, it was firstly based on Lua. But then they understand that it should be more white space and more easier for people. That's why they just moved it to Python. And that was a great choice and great, amazing one. That's why it's one of the most popular right now frameworks for artificial intelligence. That's the thing. And for example, Django was created by two creators like Andrew Holland and Simon Wilson in 2003. They have been working at newspapers web development, and they understood that they should create something that will be using don't repeat yourself methods, and they're creating a lot of web pages because it was newspaper. It was the earliest of 2000s, and they should make something interesting, something more, something better, and it was web sites, and that was quite revolutionary at that time. And that's they have thinking maybe we should create it faster and easier, so we shouldn't repeat our past code, our past things, and they have created Django that is quite popular right now. And the same with Flask and Pandas and all these things. So they have been created because Python was easier and it had a great community. Its performance. That's all. That's all the things. And right now it's one of the most popular because AI. Because it's the best place to work with machine learning. And why it is the best place? Because we have libraries that I have told you before. They have been because the programming language was simple. Analysis people, they didn't want to program a lot. They would like to have it simple as it can be. So the simplest way was to use Python. That's how it was. And after that, so it's like we're coming this for what we have right now. It's 2000 and 2020, the Python 2 was officially end of life. It's not supported, and Python 3 is a new standard. And right now you can see that it was a long story, a long way how they have been going. And basically, what Guido van Rossum was doing, he was taking simplicity and how it can be faster down on the first place. That's why Python is here. And basically, you won't be able to make that by yourself. Of course, some successful projects have made Python growing more and more rapidly to success. But basically, one technology just changed it. AI changed that from Java, for example. The most popular right now is Python, one of the most popular. And of course, it can be changed in any case. And right now, Python has a big problem because it's much bigger concurrentions here. So he should understand how to work with that. And that's why we have the next problems that have Python. And the biggest one is Python's productivity, and also global temperature lock, and that they should create something with JT. So the future of that, it will be for sure working for speed, because if Python will be more, we'll have more speed, so we'll have faster AI models. We'll have faster creation of that. If we won't have problem with global interpreter lock and better JT, it will be just better for developers, because right now Python is really good. It's have a lot of extensions that are making it more better, and especially static ones. So I think the Python will go on this way, but their main goal will be to improve performance, and they're doing that right now really good. Like global interpreter lock is all these things are less and less problem right now, but we still should understand that the future of Python is huge. But if they will be stable on their leadership of AI, if not, if another programming language will take that, I have been talking about that in our newsroom, and that can be a problem, and Python can, like, at some point cannot be the most popular right now. But as for this moment, it's one of the most popular, it's going good. I think they should create really a big update with performance. After that, I think for a long time they won't have any problems with other programming languages. But I think in any case, we're making that to have better for human, for all of us, so We're all thinking and wants only one thing, so for us to have a great and better life, and Python helps us with that, because AI is helping with us with that, and Python too. So that's the story of Python. That's how it was, that's how it is. So please write the comments down below what you're expecting to discover the story next. What is the history you're interested in? And that's all for today. Thanks everyone for watching. See you. Bye.